At 12, Aristodemus began training with weapons: the sword, the thrusting spear, and the bulwark of the Spartan army, the shield. It was a simple metal disc hammered over a wooden core. The warrior passed his left arm through a loop to a grip on the rim. A line of soldiers so protected formed a phalanx, a wall of shields, where the right side of each man was protected by the shield of the man beside him. So important was it that warriors were told to come back with their shields or on them. At 20, Aristodemus faced another rite of passage, the privilege of joining a mess.
The messmates contributed monthly a bushel of barley meal, 8 gallons of wine, 5 pounds of cheese, 2.5 pounds of figs, and a very small amount of money for such relishes as flesh and fish.
For a Spartan warrior, belonging to
stealthily into the room where his bride lay, loosed her virgin's robe, and bore her in his arms to the marriage bed. Then, after spending a short time with his bride, he went away to his usual quarters, there to sleep alongside the other young men.
Only at age 30 did Aristodemus reach the last stage of Spartan education. He was now an equal. For the rest of his life, an equal devoted himself to affairs of state and the art of war. He could choose to live with his family if he had one, but he could not farm or trade. Such work was left to others. The result, an army that could outdrill, outmarch, and outfight any other. Thermopylae means gates of heat. Here, where the mountains reared up from the shore, a hot sulfur spring flowed. In time, the sea would ebb and expose a plain nearly a mile across. In the days of Aristodemus, Thermopylae was a narrow pass, wide enough for only a single cart. Through this bottleneck, Xerxes would have to march. It was blocked by the Spartans. Xerxes sent out a spy. All he discovered was the Spartans' scorn for their enemy and for death. They stood in the open, conspicuous in their red cloaks and confident in their arms.
There he saw some of the men at exercise and others combing their hair. Marveling at the sight, he rode back, unmolested, none pursuing him or even paying him any attention. When Xerxes heard, he could not comprehend the truth, that the Spartans were preparing to the best of their power to kill or be killed. What they were doing seemed laughable.
Xerxes commanded a huge army, 200,000 strong. Such a host, he imagined, would sweep the Greeks aside. He didn't know the lay of the land or the way of the Spartans. They could not only outdrill and outmarch their foes, they could outmaneuver them. Spartans fought in platoons of 24 men called sworn bands. Small, mobile, and fiercely loyal. Aristodemus would serve in the same band throughout his career. At 55, he would retire, and a new man would take his place. For this family of comrades, each man was sworn to fight and die. Girding for battle, Aristodemus armored his torso with a bronze cuirass. His shins were guarded by bronze greaves. Strapped to his waist, an iron sword with a curved blade, wider near the tip, where it pierced flesh. Their heads were better protected than most warriors by a crested bronze helmet that exposed only the eyes. Beneath it, their long hair spilled out, a privilege of veterans and a sign of prowess. Deployed in the first rank of the phalanx, Aristodemus lifted his short spear over his shoulder, locked shields with his comrades, and advanced.